There was a guy in college that was taking an ornithologist class. That's the study of birds. He heard it was the easiest class. He took it as an elective. But the guy that had been teaching it for years retired, and a new guy took his place. And all of a sudden, it went from the easiest course to the hardest course. And he studied and studied to the midterm. And he said, I'll try to do the very best that I can. And he studied everything that he went over about these birds. And he walked in to take the test, and he felt pretty good. Everyone was sitting in the class. There was a table up front, and there were 10 jars that had 10 stuffed birds, one to a jar. Each jar had a cloth draped over it. The only thing you could see was the bird's feet. The instructor told them that they could come up for 10 minutes, make notes about each jar, 1 through 10, and then go sit down, and from the notes they took, from only looking at the bird's feet, they would have to tell the Latin name of the bird, the English name of the bird. They would have to tell the bird's habitat. They would have to tell the bird's migratory patterns. They would have to tell the bird's color, his mating habits, everything you could about this bird only from looking at the feet. And the guy hadn't studied the bird's feet. He had studied everything, but he didn't know what feet he was looking at, and he became more and more frustrated. Till finally, after about 30 minutes, he stood up, balled up his piece of paper, threw it down, and looked at that professor and said, "This is the stupidest test I've ever seen in my life. I studied everything about these birds, but I don't know anything about a bird's feet." And he started to walk off, and the professor jumped up and said, "Wait a minute." He said, "Hold on there." And the little boy turned around, or the young man turned around. The professor said, "What's your name? I want to be able to give you an F right here and now." And the young man said, "What's my name?" He said, "Look at my feet. You tell me what my name is." And he turned around and stormed out. That's how we feel, and that's how you should feel. Because no one can stand before God without paying for our great sin. What I want to tell you about tomorrow is God's great salvation.